Hello, hello. Oopsie daisy, let me reposition myself here. Where's my pen and my notebook? There, gotcha. Gotta get all the important things together.
Yeah.
Oh, your volume's low, or is it that you're not near the computer?
I am near the computer.
Hello, Elaine. I
But my
can see your
laptop-
mouth, your lips
I'm
moving.
muted. I was muted.
Yes.
Is that better?
Yes, you're with us now.
Right.
My laptop is moving really slow because it hasn't been used. So it's like, I don't know if it's what it's trying to do, but
It
just
was
bear with
a
me.
warm up. Don't bully it.
Hi, Elaine.
Hello,
No,
good
it's
evening.
telling me to-
Hi, while she's
Hi.
doing her thing, thank you very much for joining us. I think UK Fluffy Chick's plan is to read your bio before she actually introduces you. Okay.
Yeah.
And she's been offline for a couple of weeks, so she's a little bit rusty.
Okay.
You know, she'd normally be online at least half an hour ago, but you know, this time round she's letting us have to wait.
Okay, no worries.
And she's not cussing me, so you can tell she's completely out of sync. This is what happens when you go off gallivanting. know.
That's what happens. So
That's
she's on
what
holiday,
happened.
wasn't she? Where did she go?
I believe it was Kenya.
She was interviewing the lions.
Hi, Anita. How comes I didn't see you? Come on. Oh, there I am saying about... Oh, no. What have I done? What have I done? Okay. It's all good. It's all good. I'm going to change my view so I can see everybody. Anita, we still haven't decided on a name for you, you know. You've been our constant. You know. As far as I've got is AB, but that doesn't let everybody in the group know what a good supporter you are. You know, AB for active body. I don't. No, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense.
My video's not coming in. It doesn't want me on the screen.
Be patient with it. Be patient with it. Water. That's my alarm to remind me to drink water. And I'm not going to go and get some now. I'll just have to settle for the old red wine.
Yeah, that's usually a thirst quencher, isn't it?
Definitely. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm kind of, I don't know, I'm black at the moment. I'm a black screen.
Well, we can see you perfectly. You don't need to see yourself. Because normally I don't see myself. So I don't know what's going on there.
Well, I was making sure I had clues of where I went. Since you can see me, I can't see myself, but
I think although we can see you, you're frozen. Or is that a picture of you?
Yeah.
oh, I'm
That's a
frozen.
picture of you.
Oh Lord. Okay. Can I just leave and come back?
Okay, will that shut us out?
I hope not, because I've made you guys host.
Okay.
Yeah, that should be fine.
That's great. You carry on.
So fine to go and come up, right?
Okay, see you in a minute.
All right. I say I'm gonna come out. It won't let me come out. Hey, lovely,
All right.
lovely.
When you press and count to 10 seconds, because if it's in slow motion and then you press in a couple of times, it will revert to what you pressed it away from.
No, I've only pressed it once. and nothing's happening yet. Okay.
Now it's this is definitely your picture now.
But you can hear me okay, yeah?
I can hear you fine.
Okay, so we just go on without me on the screen then.
Okay.
All right, let's give it a few more minutes. All right, I'll do that. I'll give it a few more minutes. The downside of not coming on as early as I like to.
Well, you love streets so much. That's what it is. You should have been there from 6:30, checking your vision and your audio and everything, like what you advise our guests to do.
It was a matter of do as I say and not as I do.
Exactly.
Okay. I'm so sorry about this. All right.
There's 5 of us. Let's see. Oh, iPhone XR. I'm going to assume that's Keddy in America.
No, there's Beverly.
Yeah, you're there and you're moving. You're not frozen anymore. So you can now start.
And yeah, just for the record of where I was, yeah. I've been moving my head like
all
this
right,
the
we've
whole
seen
time.
the earrings now.
Just in case you don't recognize. Anyway. All right. So, good evening, peoples. Yes.
Good evening.
Okay, so go ahead now.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, everyone. All right, let's start with the intro and then I'll read your bio because I am so looking forward to this little catch-up talk, you know, as a woman of age, you know. This is relative, so go for it, sugar. Let's get the ball rolling.
Hello and good evening to everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. I am Yasmin Euphemia, aka Sugar, and we're here tonight with.
I am Beverly. I am your UK fluffy chick, fresh from Kenya. And we are the founder sisters of Support a Sis-Star network, where our aim is to showcase phenomenal people out there doing phenomenal things, whether it be a startup of a business and their journeys that they took, or just a pivotal moment in their life that they care to share with our networking community. This evening we have Miss Elaine. Let me read Miss Elaine story time for you. So her journey is called Age is Just a Number. And she's going to give us a masterclass in reinvention. So let me read exactly what it said. I'm not going to go off script. So you think it's too late to start something new? Well, Elaine is going to tell you, say it's not too late, right? So this week we'll be sitting with her. She's going to prove that the best chapter of your career might just be the one you haven't written yet. So you're going to join us tonight. We're going to have a powerful conversation. Let me tell you a little bit about Elaine. She was the 2026 Creative Success Person of the Year, and she's a true powerhouse in the arts and culture sector. Hey, story time. She's got, after 4 decades of transformative impact in the creative industries, Elaine didn't slow down. She leveled up at 59, and trust me, she don't look a day over 21. She pivoted into entrepreneurship, and she founded Elaine Grant Creative Consulting and later the Arts and Culture Group. I'm going to leave it there because you had the whole week, 2 weeks, to read the rest of the event. So you're going to hear it live and direct from Elaine. So, Miss Elaine, can you introduce yourself?
Well, thank you so much, Beth and Yasmin. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. My name's Elaine Grant, and I'm a creative arts consultant. I've been working in the arts for many, many, many years. And I started off as an actor, and I'm now a creative arts consultant. So it feels like it's like a 360 turnaround for me in terms of my career. Yeah, I'm a mum of two, a 15-year-old and a 28-year-old, girl and a boy. I'm the youngest of 8. It's going to be my birthday in a couple of weeks' time. What more do you want to know, guys?
Well, trust me, we're going to be digging deep. Yeah, we're going to be digging into everything because, you know, I'm a bit nosy like that.
Go for it.
Okay, so you said you started, hold on, before we even get to where you are, because you said you was an actress and then you've gone on to the other side now into creative arts. But what led you to that start, if you like? What led you to go into the creative sector in the first place?
Well, going right back to when I was like a teenager at school, because that's where it started. You know, I grew up in Peckham, South London, and I went to an all-girls school, Collingwood Girls' School in Queens Road, Peckham. If anybody knows of that school, so yeah, and I'd say it was my drama teacher. I had a great drama teacher. She was very dramatic. Her name was Miss Batchelor. You know, you always remember the best teachers. And she just gave me the belief that I was good at drama. And to the point where I did my, it was O-levels in those days. I did my O-level in a year in drama. So it was like an extra subject that she allowed me to do. But one thing that really, I think, changed my life was she introduced myself and a good friend of mine, who I actually saw yesterday, to a new performing arts centre that was opening up in North London. So to go from south to north, it's quite a big thing, you know, when you're a teenager. I think we were only about 14. Oh, wow. But you know what? We both lived close to each other and we both went. You know, we literally held our hands and we went up north to Kentish Town, to a place called the Weekend Arts College. It was a brand new, it was in the time of, remember Fame, the film? So it was all singing, all dancing, leotards, leg warmers. We went into this place. It was started by 2 teachers from a school in North London, and a drama teacher and a dance teacher. Basically, they started this place because they knew there was a lot of talented young people out there that didn't really have the training to then go on to, you know, study like, you know, into like higher education. So they wanted to bridge that gap, and bridge that gap they did, because that place has created Oscar winners. People like Omar trained there, Courtney Pine, you know, all of these big guys in the music industry. In the theatre, it was people like Marianne Jean-Baptiste. We've got people like, you know, if people know these names, these people were nominated for Oscars. You know, I think Marianne recently did a play that was Olivier nominated, All My Sons, in the West End. So some really high hitters, you know, creatives, dancers, actors, musicians, videographers came out of that place. Wow. And very, very proud to know that I was a founding member of this place, because the name was Weekend Arts College, Weekend Arts College and Media College, or something like that, Performing Arts and Media College. But then it's now called WAC Arts, WAC Arts, and it moved from Kentish Town to Belsize Park quite a few years ago. And lots of things have changed, but just in terms of the original concept and ethos of that place, it's got me to where I am today, I have to say. If it wasn't for a place like that, for us kind of young people, I wouldn't even just say Black, I'd say just a range of diverse young people, primarily from the working class backgrounds from all over London, to have that opportunity to go and train in those areas in those days. I'm talking about the late 70s, early 80s.
70s, yeah.
It was something quite extraordinary that nobody else was doing it. Yeah. So yeah, that's where I started.
Yeah, because in the late 70s, it was mostly all like youth clubs, nothing really like channeling talent as such in a direction, especially within the media arts, because you know. Yeah.
How would you know? Were you even born in the late 70s?
So that's where you started from.
Yes.
I see sugar though. Look at me in that tone of voice. Yeah, so that's where you started from, and so you got lots of training there. You was amongst other, talented high people that's doing great things as well now. So, what was your journey from there? So you went to the media arts, to that center. Once you finished there, what was next?
What was next was it got me prepared to do my audition, because I had to audition for my degree course to do I wanted to do performing arts. And because I had the opportunity at the Weekend Arts College to do a variety of things, not just drama, even though drama was my strongest subject. I had to do ballet, I had to do singing, I had to do mime, all of these other subjects that made me a really rounded kind of, I'd say, person. So I didn't just want to go and do a drama degree. I wanted to do a performance arts degree. And at that time, early 80s, I went to Middlesex. It was Middlesex Polytechnic at the time. Again, it was the only college close to London that was doing this kind of degree, BA honours degree. So that's the place I wanted to go to. So I took a year off. I went and worked at BT, did some admin in finance. And I was still living at home. I was able to save up a good amount of money. And I thought, you know what, I don't want to go to university straight away. I want to be able to travel. And I did. I found out that I had an uncle in Florida. And I said to my dad, first of all, I said to my dad, who do we know? Who do we know in America? I really want to go to America. And he found out that we had an Uncle Eddie in West Palm Beach in Florida. So all that money that I'd saved up, it was burning in my account. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to go to America for the whole summer. And I did for like 5 weeks. I went to and stayed with him. I had so much money, I was able to take a plane from Florida to Connecticut because I wanted to see New York, and Connecticut was like the closest place I could get to New York. So I wanted to do all of that. I did all of that. And I was able to, from there, I was able to go and see Dreamgirls on Broadway. That was just my dream. Oh, wow. By myself, booked my ticket, went to a matinee and saw the original cast of Dreamgirls, and I've still got the program. And so I was able to travel around, and then I was able to fly back to West Palm Beach, and I went to Disney World in Florida and had the most incredible time. So I did all of that before I went to, so I got in to my university course, but I knew that I didn't want to go that year. I was able to defer it for a year. And so that's what I did. And I got in and I had the most incredible time at university. But the only thing is, at that time, I was the only Black person on my course out of 60 students. But you know what? I was, yes. I was. There wasn't another Black person on my course. In other years,
is that because no one was interested in it, or because they just didn't get on the program?
I really don't know. I really don't know. But that is something that has stayed with me, all my life. But you know what? It didn't deter me, because I got a good degree. I got a 2-1. But there was kind of things like there were a lot of cliquey groups when you're in those kind of situations. The arts can be very cliquey. And I think on a student level, it was very cliquey. I wasn't selected for the Shakespeares and all of those kind of classics. I had to create my own work. And, the thing about that time was I didn't feel as if I was losing out, because the place where I did my training, the Weekend Arts College, we'd formed our own performing arts group. And we were performing at weekends all over England. And we were performing in places like the Royal Festival Hall, Sadler's Wells, and none of my other students were getting those opportunities. So I was still getting my performing experiences, even though I possibly wasn't getting it within my sort of like training session situation, but outside of uni, I was getting the performing arts experiences at quite a high level for a young person. So I didn't let that put me off. I created my final project was about women in jazz. And in my, I think it was my second, going into my third year, I said, you know what? I needed to get some books because I wanted to do my thesis about Black women in jazz. People like Ella, people like, you know, Billie Holiday, Sarah Vaughan. And at that time, there was no books that you could get in England about Black female singers. You couldn't get. I researched it and I thought, you know, how am I going to do my research? Because I knew that I wanted to do a performance, but I also knew that I wanted to write up a piece, a thesis to accompany my performing for my final piece for my degree. Well, I thought, well, how am I going to do this? I need to get back to America. How can I do this? So I applied to work at a summer camp in America for the summer.
What, in America?
In America. Because I'd had experience facilitating, working with young people. I had the experience. I knew that I could do that. You know? So I did. I applied. It was through a university program called BUNAC. And I applied and I got in. Funny enough, it was a summer camp in Connecticut. So, you know, I'm going to say after the camp was for about a month and a half. And we had like, you know, over the whole summer, you have like 3 months off. So the last month, the auntie that I'd met in Connecticut a couple of years the year before, I just contacted her and I said, look, I'm going to be working at summer camp. Can I come and stay with you in Connecticut for the final month? Yeah. Because people were going off doing lots of things, Grand Canyon, going to Vegas and all sorts of things. And I said, you know what? I'm here for a purpose. I'm here to get my books, to get my to do my studying. So I booked in with a university there. I think it was Birkbeck or something like that. And I booked in to do some research at a university. I also got some funding from I think it was the St. John's Cass Foundation that used to give money to students to do projects. I got £100 from them in the early 80s. That was plenty of money. So to buy books and things. So I did all of that while I was out there. I used that time strategically. I worked with the kids for the 2 months, immersed myself into that kind of summer camp life as one of the facilitators. I was in the performing arts. We had like a performing arts team. And yeah, I had the most incredible summer working with these American kids. But also the back of my mind, I knew that I was there to do my study, and I still had a great time. But I would during the day, that final month, I went to the university. I sat in the library and I looked up and I bought my books. I was able to buy my books in America for all the things that I needed. Yeah, that was an incredible time. And then came back to England. You know, rejoined the course. I had all like my resources, and I was ready to do my performance, which I had to plan. It was like a big thing about, you know, the thing about back in the day that Black performers weren't allowed in the front door.
Yeah.
A lot of the clubs and things, even though they wanted you to sing and perform. I based it on that because a lot of the Black performers that I read about had that similar experience, and I wanted to recreate that in a performance, which I did. So that's how the piece started. I wrote it myself. I had to get musicians. It was a live band, and I sang. It must have been about 15 songs. And I had backing vocalists and all sorts. Wow. So I created my own show. So yeah, had my costume designed by other students. So it was all like a big collaborative performance. Yeah, it was amazing.
Oh wow. Have you ever rerun it in latter years, like, you know, like bring it back just so people can see all your hard labor?
No, and even at that time in the early 80s, remember, we just about had video. I don't even know if it was recorded or what. I've got photographs because my hair was very short. I remember my hair was short, like a short curly perm. And I had on this amazing navy blue satin dress that was designed for me. And I think in the design team, the teacher made me this incredible like peacock sleeve thing that clipped on to the dress. It was incredible. He made it from like peacock feathers and beautiful feathers. It was absolutely incredible. So yeah, amazing time.
Oh, wow, that sounds absolutely fantastic. So you did uni, and you said you got 2.0. You say you got
2-1.
Yeah, I got a 2-1.
2-star, whatever.
Congratulations on your degree.
That's right.
In performing arts.
Nothing can hold you down, because this looks like it was definitely the trajectory you were meant to be on. So everything is coming like the universe is just bringing everything that you need to keep fanning that fire, to keep pushing you forward. So now, after uni, what did you do after uni?
I was out there after uni. I remember very distinctly. It was like, wow, what now? I remember that summer thinking, what do I do now? You know, all they kept saying on the course was, this is not a vocational course, which means vocational means you do a lot of like performances, practices. It was a degree course. It was like a BA honours. So it's all about the academia. But it was confusing because we did do performances and we had to as part of the performing arts. So it was a little bit confusing. But I knew that then I wanted to go and be an actor. So what do I do? I'm thinking, oh my God, what do I do? What do I do? You know, poor student, what do I do? I went to my library, and my library at the time used to keep copies of The Stage, which is like the industry newspaper. And I thought, let me go and just look. You know, they used to have lots of newspapers, but they used to have The Stage for some reason. For free, you could just sit down there and read it. And at the back of this newspaper were lots of listings, job listings. So I just scoured all the jobs, making notes and thinking, God, what can I do? And I saw a job for a Black theatre company called Umoja Theatre, based in South London. And they were doing a play about Anansi, a children's play over the summer. And I thought, God, that looks really fun. So I applied and I got the job. I thought, well, hallelujah, I got a job. And so yeah, I did that. That was my first acting role, where we toured around the country in a van. You know, back in those days, it was like, everybody has to pitch in. You have to set up the set, do everything. So it was going around community centres. It was going around, you know, different places all over the UK, doing this children's play. And it's based on it was an Anansi story, which I think the two people that ran the company, I think they actually adapted it. And I met some most incredible people, including one amazing lady who has just gone on to do some fantastic things. The writer Trish Cook, she wrote the children's book So Much that I'm sure people on this will know. This book has become world famous. She won lots of awards for it. She's gone on to write more things. She writes plays now. She does some. She's written episodes of Coronation Street. Lots of different things. She's gone on to become. But she was playing Anansi opposite me in this play. So you know, it just shows you that the people that you can meet along your journey, and we're still friends to this day. So yeah, that and then I went on and I just became a jobbing actor, going from job to job, doing lots of different things up and down the country, doing things like touring around the country. As I said, at that time in the early 80s, a lot of Black actors, a lot of our work was on the touring circuit. You'd have to be very, very lucky to get TV, to get radio or West End. A lot of us did a lot of touring, and that's what I did. I did a lot of touring up and down the country until I got my first, what is called commercial work, which commercial means that this was working with a West End producer. A lot of West End producers take shows again around the country, but it was working in quite sort of big theatres, say in Birmingham, Bristol, Manchester, to the point where I've now worked in nearly every theatre in the UK and Ireland. So we did it's called a national tour, where you do a show every week for like 2 years. I started off as an understudy, which means I didn't have the role. I was covering for one of the lead roles. It was a play called Stepping Out, which they then went a very successful comedy, and there was only one black actress in it. And it was a group of tap dancers, but they couldn't tap. They were like, went to a tap dancing class every week. They couldn't tap. But at the end, they could tap. And they do this big number with top hats and tails, and it's really flashy, flashing lights and everything. But it's a real comedy. It's a great piece. I don't even know if it's still touring around the country, because it was for many, many years, even after me. So I started off as an understudy. So basically, I had to watch the person doing the role every week, week in, week out, and then I'd get a chance to rehearse. And just in case if she got ill or anything happened to her, I would have to be ready to step into the role. That's what an understudy
So
does.
could you tap dance?
I couldn't tap dance.
Or did you have to go and learn how to tap dance?
The good thing about it was my role didn't have to tap dance that well because she was so bad. But at the end, I did have to learn the routine. So that was a good thing. So because I couldn't tap dance. But I practiced and I was able to do the routine by the end. And the thing was, now this lady that was doing the part, she was never off. She was really good, you know, she was really healthy. She never got sick. But what she did was, one day she gave me the chance. She said, Elaine, I really want you to do this. And she did. She gave me the chance to do it. One performance out of a whole year and a half of going around the country. And the good thing was that one performance, because they changed the cast after every kind of like year and a half, I got the part because the producer found out about me somehow and said, you know, people reported back that I was really good. And when the show was going out again on another tour, I got the part. So again, and I did it for like another year. So I was touring around the country like for like 2 to 3 years almost. But the second time round, I actually had the part. And I was like the character, and I had an understudy.
I was just going to say, did you have an understudy? Because you'd have to have one again. So, hold on. Did they get a chance to get a little piece in there, or was you?
I don't know. I don't think I did. You know, because by then, you know, I thought that's my part now. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this to the max. So yeah, that's how it is sometimes. You know, you don't just think about the here and now. You have to play the long game. And that's something that I learned and has carried me through with my career. You have to in my industry, you play the long game, because if you're patient enough, things will come to you. So that is what I learned. And I also learned about, you know, the stamina it takes to do a show 8 times a week, a physical show 8 times a week. It's not easy. And because also around the country, there are different types of stages. Not all the stages are flat. Some of them are raked, which means that they're on a slope, they're on an angle. So you have to get used to that. You have to come in every week. You're in a different place. You could be in Birmingham, Bristol, Manchester. Every week is a different place. And every stage could be different. And every theatre is different. But the stage itself could be flat or it could be raked. And that's something that I had to get used to. Again, tap dancing on a rake stage is not easy. So yeah, I learned a lot.
When you slide, because them the shoes have got the that metal thing on it, isn't it? So wasn't it make it slippery if you're on a oh god.
It can do, but they had to put like some kind of resin or something on the stage to prevent that. So yeah, it's a whole business to tour around the country, because you're touring with a whole team of people as well, not just the actors. You're touring with your stage management team, company manager. They're coming with you the whole way. So it's a whole production that you're touring with. And the set as well. The set is coming with you in big old vans. They pack it down at the end of every week. And then they have to, you know, recreate it again in different spaces every week. It's a real big thing. And it does take a lot out of you, physically and mentally.
I can imagine. So, because you said you went from being an actor, so I take you did all the circuits, all this touring and everything, into entrepreneurship. So how did you make that transition, and what made you want to make that transition? Because I guess you've worked in every element, so you see what it takes.
Yeah.
But what made you want to do that?
Well, I have to kind of go back a little step before I went into entrepreneurship. Once I performed as a professional actor and singer for about 12 years. Then I met somebody, and then I decided that, you know, by then I was in my early 30s and I wanted to start a family. I really did. I wanted to start a family. I thought that this was the person for me. Turned out it wasn't, but that's another story. Won't go there. But, you know, but I was with this person for 20 years and I've had 2 children for him. But, you know, when I met him, I wanted, you know, we were together, say, for about 3 or 4 years. And I thought, you know, I really want to settle down. And at the time, I thought I could get work in London. I could still have an agent. I could still do work on television and things. But it didn't quite work out the way that I kind of imagined. And I thought to myself again, what else do I want to do? And I knew that I wanted to stay in the arts. And but what else could I do? All I'd known is, you know, I'd gone to uni, I trained, I performed. I didn't have any kind of admin skills. So what happened was, and again, this is like, you know, fate. This is whatever you want to call it. But I went back to Weekend Arts College, WAC Arts. They invited me to come back and run a weekend program for young children, 5 to 14-year-olds. There was an opening and they said, would you like to do it, Elaine? And I thought at the time, yes, I did. And because I didn't want to tour around, you know, around the country. I wanted to kind of settle down in London. I wanted to have my own place and, you know, not be flitting here, there and everywhere every week. So that was a fabulous opportunity. It was a Saturday, all day Saturday, and one day in the week doing admin, just for this one project. So it went from that, and then the job just got bigger and bigger and bigger. They wanted me to do other programs, other projects, and they actually paid for me to do a computer course, an admin course. So I thought, you know what? Yes, why not? Learn about, you know, all the Microsoft programs, you know, the Word, Excel, Access. So I went to my local college, they paid for it, and I did all of that, and I passed. And that really helped me to now be able to, you know, move around a computer. I can't type. Even to this day, I can't really type, but I know my way around my PC and my laptop, and which is what I needed. I didn't need to have, like, you know, how many words a minute kind of situation. I just needed to know how to navigate my computer. And from there, I stayed there and I did a variety of projects. I worked in hospital schools. I did a lot of community work, community engagement work, all in the arts, working with young people, working with families. And that's where I got my experience of project management, arts administration, which I really, really loved. By then, I'd had my son. And I thought, you know, this is what I really like to do. And I stayed there to the point where I was then running. The last thing I did was I was managing the first kind of foundation degree in non-Western art forms. It was the first of its kind anywhere in the UK, where students were coming and doing a foundation degree and they were learning reggae vocals. We had like a reggae artist that would come in and teach reggae vocals. They do like Katak dancing, Indian dancing. They do like African, they do like capoeira, as well as the contemporary, the tap, the jazz, the ballet. We'd add on all of these non-Western art forms, which was just one of its kind. And it was linked with, it was in collaboration with the London Metropolitan University. So
they still do something like that now?
No, it's not happening anymore, which is such a shame. But you know what? There's again, some of those students that did that course, they were like guinea pigs at the time. But some of them have gone on to be extraordinary. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about that a little bit later, because I'm now meeting those young people who are now performing in the West End, who are now getting awards for their work. And I work with them. And when I see them, it's like, you know, it's like me going back to seeing my drama teacher, which I did. When I became a professional, I did a show in Brighton and she came to see the show. I didn't know until the end. And when I saw her, obviously I burst into tears because, you know, she didn't know. She said, I didn't know what you were going to go on to do. Once you left secondary school, you don't kind of keep in contact. A lot of us, you just don't. But for her to see me as a professional and to know that I'd gone into the industry was a big thing for her. And it was a big thing for me to actually see her. So it's now happening to me. I'm now seeing my students performing in the West End, winning like Black Theatre Awards and just doing incredible things in the industry. So I did all of that. I stayed that at my college for 11 years and I left because I wanted a new challenge. I then went to work for a theatre education charity. Now, this is where the real change in my life happened, where I started organizing. The main thing about this job was it was a job where I had to organize theatre visits for schools and families. There were big projects. And this job started off part-time. It's a 3-day a week. And even then, when I took the job, I thought, I just needed to just do something different. But once I started the job, within a month of me starting that job, I knew that this job was much, much bigger. You know, they wanted to get hundreds of young people into seeing theatre in the West End. And I said to my boss, this job is bigger than a 3-day job. This is like a full-time job. And she agreed with me. And they made it into a full-time post. So during the term time, I'd organise theatre visits for schools to go and see the theatre. I'd negotiate the ticket prices. I'd work with the theatre marketeers or producers, and I'd get like top shows like Lion King, Wicked. You know, I did that. And for all of these big top shows, all the big Shakespeare shows, you know, whatever the schools I felt that they needed to see, I would create every term, 6 shows, 8 shows, sometimes 10 shows to begin with. And what this charity did was we subsidized the price of the theatre tickets. So when I started, the tickets were £3 a ticket that the school children would pay, because the charity themselves had this government funding. It was called the London Challenge. And so we were able to subsidize the price of the tickets. Now, these schemes don't last for, I think it was for 3 years. It ended. Then the charity then had to keep finding funding to subsidize the tickets, and they did it. So by the time I stayed with this charity for 16 years, and in the summer holidays, I ran a family program where families were able to go to the theatre as a family group for, you know, as I said, £5 a ticket, you know, to go to these big shows in the summer holidays. And as well as everything else, workshops. I organised workshops in schools, workshops in theatres, on the stages of these big West End shows. Now, this was before COVID. So everything changed during COVID and after COVID. I would imagine. The project continued. We'll still be able to do, you know, funding was cut. We had to pull back on some of the shows and things. But I did it for 16 years. And you know what? After COVID, I realised that there was other ways that I could earn money, that I could legally that I didn't have to leave my house. I didn't have to leave my house. And I didn't even realize that. It was only because I was on furlough. And as most of us know, if you were on furlough, everybody thought it was just going to be like, you know, over the summer, we'd be back at work. And little did we know that I was on furlough for nearly a year. It's like 9-10 months. And thank God that none of the people in the charity, quite a small charity, we weren't made redundant, because there was rumours that some people were going to be made redundant, but we weren't. But in that time, I joined a network marketing company because I couldn't do what I was, you know, paid to do, but you were able to still work. So somebody approached me. I was on all of, you know, these WhatsApp groups. That's when WhatsApp came into and Zoom came into being, because nobody knew about these.
And Zoom, although I didn't get into the Zoom,
but we were all on it, you know, because we had nothing else to do. I had Zoom parties. I'd dress up, put my makeup on, do my hair.
That was Yasmin. She did that.
You've frozen, so hold that thought until you come back on, okay? Because as Beverly knows, I was definitely a Zoom queen. I dressed up right down to perfume I put on to go to the Zoom parties, you know, sort of thing. But you know, Elaine's journey has been really, really interesting. You haven't frozen as well, have you, Beverly? No,
I don't think so.
I can see your lips. I can see your lips moving. So we just wait for her to get back in, sort of thing. I just love the idea that you know, the drama school that she went to, Omar, Courtney Pine. I used to follow Courtney Pine. Hey, yeah. You know, Marion Baptiste, all those sort of people starting off in a similar way that she did. And are you back with us? No, she's not back yet. She's probably there, just similar to what happened to you earlier, Beverly. Right. But and then when she was talking about her research was on Sarah Vaughan and Billie Holiday. Sarah Vaughan was one of my dad's favorite artists, and Billie Holiday is my artist. So it's like, I love Elaine. You know, we should get a heart in there, sort of thing. All right. I still can't see her. You know, but if you do see her, do tell me that she's managed to get.
Yeah, no, I don't see her.
Sort of thing, but her journey, because
just as she's getting to the juicy.
Just as she's getting to the juicy bit, yeah. But her journey, like going to America and everything, like is similar to what I did when I went with the Bonner brothers. And you know, oh gosh, and I was saying to you, what did you call it? Because it wasn't a correspondence course that I did, and then I went there and actually did the practical side of it. There she is. She's coming back.
She's coming.
Yep. And XR. There's a couple of people that actually got booted out. Elaine, we've got you back. We're just waiting for your picture. And whilst I'm waiting for your picture to come up, I want to say thanks to Anita, Donna, Maxine, Tenacious did pop in, Keddy, Sharon, Denise, and Long. Thank you all very much for joining us. And you can take over again, Elaine.
Oh, I'm so sorry about that. Was it me, or was it just a technical blip?
I think it was a blip because there's two other people that got pushed out as well.
Okay then. Well, can you see me? Can you hear me? I can't remember what I was talking about now.
That's the world of Zoom.
Remind me where I was at, so I can
world
pick up.
of Zoom.
Yes, we were talking about Zoom and yeah, somebody's
you're doing your party, so you know, dressing up for the Zoom
dressing
parties.
up for Zooms, and somebody on one of the Zooms heard my story that I was, you know, on furlough, got 2 children, and obviously, you know, by then you had to.
Because it was you that made me start with the Zoom. Remember I came in for your book launch that you had.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Sorry, we got a slight delay. So you carry on, Elaine.
Sorry. I'm going to see if I can get back in again. I'm going to see if I can get back in again on my computer. I think I can now. Let me come off this and then I'll rejoin.
I think I've joined you twice, so you should be okay. But do it if you want to. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm back in now.
Excellent.
Sorry about that.
Yeah,
yes. So I was talking about, when on furlough during the COVID, really, really tough times, you know, some good things came out of those times. You know, I have to say that, you know, lots of people really struggled. And yes, I was struggling financially, if I'm really honest.
I'm not hearing anything. Is Elaine speaking?
Somebody came to me and gave me this option: save money, make money. And I thought, why not? Can you hear me?
This is Zoom is fighting
Beverly, I don't know what you need to go on to mute because you're talking over Elaine whilst you're talking to the computer.
Okay.
The floor's yours, Elaine. Sorry about that.
That's all right. So as I said, I was on one of these groups and somebody approached me about a network marketing company, making money, saving money. And I thought, oh, okay, that sounds interesting. So I gave it a try and I did make money. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Yasmin? I did make money and I did save money on my home services. And I really liked it because I like talking to people. I like people generally. And it really worked for me. And even though I went back to work, you know, about 10 months later, I still do that work, and I still do that work to this day. Even though I went back to work and things happened, a lot of people left, a lot of people moved out of London, and a lot of my original team that I worked with, because I love working with people, left, and things changed, and I think I had changed as well. Maybe didn't realize it at the time. And, you know, I asked for a rise because I thought I'd been working there for a long time. I know I'd had little kind of raises, you know, throughout the years. But I thought, you know, this is my moment now to say, look, I've been doing this work very, very successfully. I'd won an award for doing this work while I was there. I asked for a rise. Oh, no money, no money, no money, no money. We're a small charity, no money, no money. I'm thinking, okay. Also, a couple of other things happened that I wasn't really comfortable with. I'm not really want to go into it, but as I said, I wasn't very comfortable with. And I thought, okay. At the same time, I knew that I wanted to make a change in my life. And again, I always say to myself, how am I going to do this? Somebody dropped a message into my emails about a coaching event, business coaching event. And I thought it was free, it was online. I thought, well, why not go along, see what this is all about. Absolutely loved it, and actually knew the coach that was running the event because I'd worked with her many, many years ago on a festival in Southwest London, in Streatham. And I really liked her anyway. And I thought, you know what, I'd love to just find out more about, you know, find out what I'm really good at, my strengths, and what could I really do with whatever. And I started this coaching program, and I absolutely loved it. I learned so much about myself and about running a business, which I'd never done, never even thought. But because I'd done the network marketing, and I could call myself an entrepreneur, which before those words would never even come out of my mouth, I thought, you know what, I'm going to give this a go. So I embarked on this coaching program. And that's where I really found out what is it that I really loved about the work that I did. And I just finally, over several months, discovered that there were two things about my job that I loved. I loved giving people access to great, high quality art and culture. And I loved engaging the community in this in some shape or form. So the work that I did with schools, the work that I did with families, I really wanted to do more of that. And I know that I was good at it. Yeah. Because a lot of the shows that I used to get, nobody in the charity could get. I got great rapport with the marketeers, because even my director would say, Elaine, how did you manage to get that show? That show's just opened. How did you manage? I think, well, you know what? For me, and I always tell some of my juniors that I used to mentor, they can only say two things. When you ask a question, they can only say two words, yes or no. And I must admit, working for that charity was well established in the West End, and lots of people wanted to give back to the charity. And that's how they did it, by giving us discounted tickets for a variety of shows. So I suppose in that sense, I was operating under that kind of umbrella, that kind of secure umbrella. But as I said, 16 years, no money, no career advancement, i.e. there was nowhere for me, there was no position, higher position that I could do. You know, working really hard, going to shows, running here and there. I used to bring my children with me when I could. I used to remember bringing my son to the theatres, you know, he was quite young, you know, appropriately, if there was the show that he could go to musicals, I would drag him along. I hadn't had my daughter then, but, you know, 4 years, 5 years into working at the charity, I did get pregnant again, and I had my daughter. And yeah, I was still with my ex-partner at the time, but I was able to, the good thing about it was my boss, she was really good in the sense that she always thought that family came first. If anything was wrong with my children, she'd say to me, why are you still here? Go, you know, and, you know, didn't have to dock my money. You know, I was able to take time off if I needed to for my children. I was able to bring my daughter, when my daughter was of a certain age, I was able to bring her in during the summer holidays, during the Easter holidays. I didn't have to worry about childcare. She'd come and sit in the office and, you know, just do a scribbling. She'd be doing people's hair. She'd be doing, you know, all kinds of lovely things. So it was very informal kind of setting. People would bring their dogs in, you know, it was that kind of place, but we got the work done. It was lovely. It was a really relaxing kind of situation where we all worked together. Ideas were flying around. It was a communal office. It was in central London. You know, we were right in the heart of Theatreland. It was great. But after 16 years, as I said, of doing the same thing, I'd opened big shows. I'd done like the first relaxed performance. I was part of that team in the West End. It was Shrek the Musical. I'd filled theatres, you know, with a team. Halloween, Wicked, you know, I filled that theatre, which is over 1,000 seats of school groups. So I knew that I can do this work, and I absolutely love it. So I decided that the time had come when I needed to hand in my notice. I had to give 3 months, 3 months notice. So I had to do it at a certain time because the work was relentless. There was never a time when I could stop and take a breath and really rethink about the projects. And that's what really frustrated me towards the end. It was just like term time. It was visits. Come the summer, it was visits again for families, which was brilliant, but it just became a bit too much, I think, after a while. So I handed in my notice, I worked my 3 months, and I left. And I left with like 6 weeks money, finances under my belt, thinking, okay, you've left, you haven't got another job, lady, what are you going to do? So I met with a lot of contacts that I'd made in the West End. I met a lot of people. I met for coffees. And I sat with them and I told them my ideas. Everyone was really, really encouraging. No one was offering me work, but people were very, very encouraging. So I kind of knew that I was on the right path. I was still doing my coaching program, and the coaching community that I am a part of, and I'm still a part of that community to this day, was so encouraging and lifted me up. My family, my girlfriends, my walk and talk group. You know, even before I handed in my notice, I spoke to people and they said, Elaine, go for it. Just go for it. Just do it.
Oh.
You know, you will find your wings. And I did. And as I said, little by little, just by meeting people organically on the bus, I met a lady that ran a project for children with autism. She was looking, it was just coming up to the summer holidays. They were looking for something to do with the children. I said, well, look, I can get you into some shows. And she said, wow, the kids would love that, getting into the West End, going to, and she paid me to do it. She paid me to get her tickets.
You say it as if you're surprised.
So that's what I did. And my daughter was a part of this summer program. And again, that program paid me to get them tickets to see some shows that I was, knew about. So I just reached out to people. I wrote emails, I rang people, and I said, look, this is what I'm doing now. If anything comes up, just let me know. And that's what I did. Things just happened instinctively, organically. And yeah, things were still tight financially.
Do you still have that company now?
I created my own consultancy.
And that's what's still running now.
That they encouraged me to, what could I do? How can I start a business doing those two things, community engagement, audience development?
Excellent.
Start my own consultancy, become a consultant, get out there, try and get my contacts again. I had to almost start again, even though I knew
you had a good foundation.
Yeah, I had a good foundation, and that's what I did. And I just kept going. I kept getting work. I went onto LinkedIn. I increased my visibility. These are all the things that I learned on this coaching program. Increase your visibility, post all the time. When you're going out to do things, post about it. Even if you're doing something socially, post about it. So people got to know me, and I started to get work from LinkedIn. Somebody approached me. Directors approached me for a job. He was doing this production where he wanted school groups in, and that was my specialism, school groups, obviously. I still had a network with my teachers that I'd been working with for 16 years, and they knew me, they liked me, they trust me. So I was able to reach out to them, and I was able to fill those allocations.
Excellent.
And people that I'd worked with while I was in the charity, I reached out to them. It was like working with Cameron McIntosh, who's one of the biggest producers, shows like Hamilton, Les Miserables, Phantom of the Opera. I reached out to somebody that I was working with while I was at the charity, and I said, look, I want to keep doing this work. And she was absolutely lovely. She said, Elaine, I'd love for you to come and support me, because I knew that she was really, really busy. So I thought, well, get in there, Elaine, because I know she's busy. I could help her out. And they've been one of my longest clients. Tomorrow, we're doing the first student performance for Oliver. Now, when I say student performance, it's not a students on the stage. These are the professional shows, professional actors. But what we do is we fill the theatre with school groups. And I'm part of that team, and I have been for the last, 5 years plus, where we work on Hamilton 3 times a year. 2 times a year, we do student matinees where we fill the theatre with school children. In August, we fill the theatre with youth groups. That started 3 years ago. And working on that project is amazing, because I'm working with youth groups across the UK. I've got groups coming from East Yorkshire, West Yorkshire, Manchester, Birmingham, as well as London. The word just gets out. I don't have to do hardly any advertising. The company gives me an allocation of tickets, and I'm able to disseminate them to whoever I want. So groups that have never had the opportunity to see Hamilton, the tickets are only £10, and they get a free program. They get ice creams for £1. And after the show, there's like a post-show technical demonstration of how the lights work, sound, stage management, and there's a Q&A with the entire cast, creative team, musicians, front of house. And basically the reason why they do that is that they want to open young people's eyes and minds to creative careers in the arts. So very, very proud to be a part of that team. And then since then, I've just continued to get work. I now get referrals. I get people referring me. One of my really big clients working for the Royal Shakespeare Company, I've worked with them 3 times, and that was through a referral. Somebody that I met at a conference, she just emailed me out of the blue. She said, look, I've just had a meeting with the RSC, the Royal Shakespeare Company. They need to talk to you, Elaine. And I said, oh, okay. About half an hour later, they emailed me and said, and told me what they want to do. Basically, they want to get a more diverse audience into their theatre up in Stratford-upon-Avon, up in Oxfordshire. This is not London. This is outside London. And I thought, okay, I can take on this challenge. So they invited me up. They invited me to see a show, went up there, and they told me what they wanted. And they were working on a couple of shows. And the big show that they were working on was an all-black musical that was coming to that theatre. Now that theatre, when I went, the first time I went and I sat in that theatre, I looked left and I looked right. I didn't see anybody apart from myself and my sister and one other person, black person in that audience. And it was packed. It was packed. And I thought, okay, now I know what I'm here to do. So before then, I'd come up with this idea in 2024. I started my consultancy in 2023. In 2024, I had the idea, and I don't know how it came to me, but it did, where I knew that I wanted to start my own art and culture group. I call it the ANC group, which, funnily enough, somebody reminded me that those are the names, those are the letters of my 2 children. So I'm thinking, ANC, Angelina, my daughter's called Angelina, and my son is called Chris, but it does stand for art and culture. So there's a connection there somewhere out there. So I started this group because I wanted to get more diversity into audiences. And this was before the Royal Shakespeare Company, all of that. I knew that a lot of the time when I went sit in theatres, there's not many people that look like me. And I go to the theatre a lot. That's where I spend the most of my money, actually, even now. Although I do get a lot of free tickets as well. But there's so much I want to see that I am willing to pay money to see it. But I know that there's not a lot of people, black people, going to theatre. And I'm thinking, why? I love this industry. I want to share this with others. So I started this group quite organically. I can't remember what the first show that I had. But anyway, again, putting it out there. Putting it on WhatsApp groups have been so powerful for me. Putting it on LinkedIn to say, look, this is what I've started, guys. Who wants to join?
Yeah.
I've been doing this group now for 2, coming up to 3 years. And it is now over 1,100 people in this membership.
Wow.
And now I have had tickets for MJ the musical. I've had tickets for like Lion King, big West End shows now. And as I said, I started at the Royal Shakespeare Company with this black musical called The Boy Who Harnessed the Wind. And I bought my own group up to see this show. But I also connected with this group in Birmingham of black elders. And this was from a chance visit, meeting somebody from that group who came up to Stratford on her own, and black woman, we met her at the train station, just got chatting, and she told me about this group. I reached out to this group and I said, look, I'm about to work on this show. I'd love for you guys to come and see it as well. Well, they did. They absolutely loved it. And then since then, they've been back up to Elaine. Theatre. Sorry, stop me. Yes.
No, I'm just saying. No, I was having lots of technical difficulties behind the scene. That you came back with your juicy bits. I couldn't hear one thing. Couldn't see anything. So
it's all right. We enjoyed every word.
when I watch the replay, I'll see what happened. I'll see what I missed. I'm sorry. No, it's fine, because I just couldn't. I'm trying to pick from what I can hear now. What is the crux of your business? But it sounds like it's in
the arts.
Getting diverse audiences into
those are the two things that I specialize in: audience development, and that encompasses outreach, giving people access, diversification of my industry. Because for many years, as you've heard, I've been working in this industry for over 40 odd years, and not a lot. Some things have changed, but not a lot really. So I know my work is still very much needed to this day, and my work encompasses not just theatre. A lot of my work is theatre, but I love to go to galleries, museums, heritage sites, and I've been able to work on a major heritage site in terms of, incorporating the Black community, because a lot of these heritage sites, as we all know, were built on the back of our ancestors. Of course, the sugar trade, the transatlantic slave trade. So, working on one of these sites, and I want to do more of that kind of work. So if there's anybody out there working in any of these places, give me a heads up, because the work is still needed in these places to get our people. Have you
heard of Black History Studies? Have you heard?
Sorry?
Because they Black History Studies. Have you heard of Black History Studies? Because they do stuff like that. They do all the tours and stuff of museums and places around London from a Black perspective, though. So they do stuff like that as well.
So in terms of what I do, in terms of like my consultancy, I will go in and I will support whatever projects that they're doing. Like this heritage site wanted to get a more of a Black presence on their website. They were doing like a whole digital reframe, and they were very open about the history of how they got the money to build this mansion and all that land that this place sat on. And obviously when you go into these places, furniture, paintings, and all of that, they wanted the public and the world to know that, and they put it in writing. They wanted, but they wanted to hear from the Black community in Leeds. It was what they thought about all of it. So my job was to manage the focus groups for this project. And the job just kept going on and on and on, which is amazing for me. It went on for over a year, where I was able to record people. I was able to run focus groups. We even had a Caribbean afternoon tea in the house. And we invited people to the house. But I thought, you know what? We're going to have a Caribbean style afternoon tea in this place. And we did. We got a local caterer to create it, and it was amazing. It was amazing. So
So that is where you are with your consultancy now. So long run, you just want to do more audience developing and bringing that diversive element into that arena, if you like. Is that what your long term?
Absolutely. My long-term goal is, at the moment, my website is just about to be launched, because again, in terms of visibility, everybody always says, have you got a website? Have you got a website? So I have invested into creating a website, and that's going to be launched in literally the next few days. My web developer has said, I've been working on it for over a year, where I'm going to be incorporating, obviously, my consultancy work, but also the group, the art and culture group. And what I will be doing, sorry guys, but it's been free all this time, but it's going to be a paid membership group now, where the members will pay an annual fee to be a part of, to access all of those incredible shows that I get at a highly discounted price, but also
Yeah.
sometimes free.
Yeah.
I offer free tickets as well. They will pay for that privilege and to be a part of that exclusive group, because not only will they get access to theatre tickets and tickets to galleries, museums, etc. I organise in-person group visits as well to a lot of these places, and they get a chance to meet the actors behind the scenes and all of that. So it's not just going to be go and see a show. There's going to be they'll be able to find out about the processes of that show. They'll be able to talk to the actors or the other creatives of that show. I'm also linking with hotels, restaurants. You know, I don't want to give away too much, but I've got lots of plans for that, for my website, and what my website will give to my members, but also to the general public out there, because I'm an ideas person. I love creating ideas and things in conjunction with my skills and knowledge of this industry.
Okay.
I just want to do more of it, basically, but elevate and develop what I already know.
Okay, that sounds absolutely fantastic. We're going to be rounding up shortly, but before we do all of that, was there any question from anyone? Because normally we usually get some audience participation, but sorry guys, I've just been having some serious blips here. Was there any questions or anything so far before I do your final what message to your younger self question? Not yet. Anything, Sugar?
And Anita has got her hand up.
Anita's got a hand up.
Anything in the chat?
Anita, and ask a question, please.
I can understand a lot of the presentation that you gave is very much London, and some of us do not live anywhere near London. I love the theatre. It is what I miss the most. I live not far from Leeds. I just don't see anything that I would want to see there.
Okay. Well, I've been working on the UK tour of To Kill a Mockingbird. You know, that famous book that was written. And whether that is something for you or not, there are a lot of shows that are coming out of London. A lot of musicals. There was the one about the Windrush. What was that? A Small Island. That came to, I think, Birmingham. So that you are getting some really good things around the country. It's just for you to just maybe just do a little bit of investigation.
It's where you actually find it, Anita. So maybe when they get advertised, I'll have to send a link up to you, because you're not reading the right stuff, girl.
Birmingham, someone's put Birmingham is great for culture. You're absolutely right. The show went to Birmingham. Remember, I said I worked with the elders, the group of elders, 65 to 85-year-olds. They'd never been out of Birmingham. They took a minivan to come to Stratford, but I was working on To Kill a Mockingbird, and it was coming to Birmingham. And I thought, I wonder if they know about this. They didn't know about it. So I told them about it, and I linked them in with the people at the Birmingham Hippodrome. And the Birmingham Hippodrome gave them free tickets to see the show, plus free ice cream to see the show. So, in my business, it's about who you know. Yeah? So if you do want to connect with any theatres in your area, Anita, reach out to me. These guys have got my email addresses. Reach out to me and I'll point you in the right direction, because there are things good, lovely things happening in the regions. It's not just London. And that's what I love about what I'm doing now. I'm able to get out of London. I've made some great contacts out of Leeds, Coventry, Manchester. So I've got some good contacts. And a lot of people that are doing similar work to me in those places look like me. And it was so sweet. When I get on the Zooms with them, I see their faces light up. When they saw me, they were like, okay, yes, now we can talk. So there are a lot of Black people doing this kind of work outside London. And it's about you trying to.
And this is what this is all about, is raising that awareness of what people are doing. And you know, so people like Anita can get to know that there's things happening that I'm not aware of. That's what it's all about. So let me ask you, Miss Elaine. I hope you don't mind me calling you Miss Elaine. I don't know why I do that, but I just feel like a little girl around you. We're not far in age, but for some reason, I just feel like about 10 years old around you. But if you had to give a message or say something to your younger self, what would that word of wisdom or nugget be that you would say to your?
You know what? I think because of the, I don't know where it comes from, this level of confidence. And you know what? There are things that worry me, that make me nervous, but I don't know whether it has been my performing arts training that, to just be fearless, just to be fearless. When you want to do something, as I said before, when you want to ask a question to somebody, there's only two things that they will say, yes or no. But if you don't ask the question, you will never know. So
I know.
But what I say about myself is, I'm very proud of what I've achieved. Yeah. But throughout my life and throughout I think potentially my career, I've remained creatively curious. And that's what I'd say to any young person out there. I'm a trustee of 4 arts organizations that work with young people and families. I'm a school governor at a school. Yeah. Be creatively curious. And I say that to my children as well. And I used to say to my children this little saying: be the shepherd, not the sheep. Yeah. Be the leader. And whatever you do, be the leader. And that I've had to learn that leadership, and I'm learning that now. Being an entrepreneur, being a person that I'm running my own business, I'm still learning. I'm not there yet. I'm still learning. That's why I'm still investing in training, in coaching, in developing myself. And in turn, I'm developing my business at the same time.
Yeah, that's
so
fantastic.
Stay curious. And stay curious about the world, not just about, where you are, what your job. Open your mind to what else is out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Current affairs, be involved.
I 100% agree with that. Yes. I 100%, trillion, million % agree with that. I've been hearing that keyword come up a lot at work, outside, and in all these talks that we've had each week. That be curious theme is still, and that's just what I am.
It makes you an interesting person.
Yeah, it makes life interesting.
I think that's what draws people to me. That I can talk to anybody. And I think another thing about me is that I can talk to the Cameron McIntoshes or the Sonia Friedmans. These are top producers, international producers in the art and cultural sector. I can talk to them because for me, they're ordinary people. Yeah, they've achieved some incredible things.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, they're ordinary people just like me. I don't have that inferiority complex amongst none of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
I may not get access, and I've spoken to both of them. I've interviewed one of them in an interview situation. And she was absolutely lovely. Other people would say, oh my God, you've introduced her. But they kind of got that fear. But I've come to the stage in my life and in my career, I don't really have that fear anymore. And I'm glad I've gone past that now. You take me for who I am. I may not get on with everybody, but the majority of people I do. And people are coming to me and want to work with me. I'm a decent person. I'm authentic, and I tell you as it is. But don't come and mess with me, because you'll do that once. You won't get another chance. But you know what I mean? I'm that kind of person as well. But that's just who I am. And I think people say I'm personable, I'm approachable.
And on that note,
and I love that.
Okay. And on that note, we're gonna wrap it up. Miss Sugar.
My thing
You've
was,
been quite quiet. Is there
my
anything
mic
else?
was playing up.
Anything else before we go?
Do you know, that was absolutely beautiful, Elaine. You've just reminded me so much stuff of my youth. And as I was,
is this another glitch going on now?
Oh, she's talking to herself again. Your words be the
shepherd. Anything else, unless I can't hear her, because that's what was happening before. I would think I was talking over everyone because I couldn't hear a thing.
You're still talking over everybody. We cannot hear you.
And I'm not hearing her.
I think on that note, I think we better wrap up because she really can't hear us.
I'm going to take that as a no.
So
anyway, Miss Elaine, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Your story, the parts that I did hear, it was so interesting. And yeah, what you do sounds absolutely fantastic. I look forward to seeing your website launched so that we can share your website details so more and more people can be in contact and get involved in what you're doing, working with you collaboratively.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. And if anybody wants to reach out to me, I'd say the main place for me is LinkedIn. Or Facebook. You know, if anybody wants to reach out to me about any things that I've discussed tonight in regards to my work, in regards to my group, you know, the doors will be open, but obviously
it's LinkedIn.
It's going to be LinkedIn, but after, as I said, my website being developed, there will be a paid membership, but you will get value for money. If you join, you will get value.
What I'll do is I'll put the contact information on your YouTube
YouTube, and of course our page,
the Sis-Star Network Facebook group page. Yes,
it's all good. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me tonight. It's been lovely.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Sorry about all the glitches and stuff, but that's the Zoom world. But
that's life.
Yes. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you all the participants that was with us, the ones that even got booted out and come back in. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. All right, so that's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
Thank you.
Bye.
That's a wrap. All right.
Okay then. So do we just log off now?
Good night, everyone.
Beverly's going to log us off. I think you should. If
just sign us out, Bev.
Okay.
But thank you again, both of you, and you, Anita, for coming on live. Take care. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Your button's still not working, is it? I don't think she can hear me.
Bye.
No, we're still here. Your button's not. I can't do it. I cannot log you out, girl. I think you'll just have to stay tonight.
I think we're being held hostage.
Yes, I can hear you, and we've been hearing you.
Hello, don't go nowhere again because it's happened because you went to visit the lion there.
That's right. I agree, Anita. You don't go anywhere again. That's what happens. You see, it's because you've.
I took it on the areas again. See that's I'm held hostage. It's true. It's true.
Yeah, you got it the right way round. We've seen them. Yeah, we're so impressed.
Kenya, you know? The wrestle with the lions now. I come back here and the wrestling with Zoom.
Okay.
Something's happening.
You're going to try again, see if it turns us off. Otherwise, you're going to be here.